Hey, it's Wednesday. That means this guy's on the rail. Chris Ello. You can follow Chris on Twitter at Chris Ello's SD, as in San Diego. This is your segment. For folks who don't know how it works, Chris throws some ideas into a hat. I throw some ideas into a hat, and then we just forget about that and freeform.
We kick it around.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. When I first thought about this segment this week, the big news was Phil Mickelson deciding that the U.S. Open is not more important than his daughter's graduation. She is giving the commencement address. He makes the family first decision, which is why we love him.
How many athletes would have actually done it, though? I mean, really, you have to ask yourself that question. I mean, Phil Mickelson thought about this correctly. The fact is there's another U.S. Open next year and the year after that, but there's one commencement address, and that's this year, and that's now. And if it was flipped the other way, if his daughter, unfortunately had to go into the hospital or some sort, he would skip the U.S. Open for that. Yeah. So why shouldn't he skip the U.S. Open for something positive and upbeat and like that? And this is why we love him. Because we don't have any teams to love in San Diego. Unfortunately, our teams have never been successful. The only success we've ever had is individually, and unfortunately now Tony has passed, and Junior has passed. Now Steve Fisher has retired. Phil's, we got to hang on to what we got.
And for people who've been following and reporting on him as long as you have, this is not new. I mean, he was going to walk off the golf course when his wife was pregnant and was playing with a beeper on it. So really, it's a bigger story outside of San Diego than it is. But we congratulate him.
It's a no-brainer
on setting the example for the rest of us. Which brings us to another fan favorite. I think Nick Hardwood certainly falls into that category.
Yeah.
This is Nick back in January after the Chargers announced they are leaving town.
Like, how's this affect you? And I'm like, well, it deeply affects me. And they're like, you following the team up to L.A.? And I said, no. Why not? That's not my team.
I had to be involved again with the Chargers. It's my team. It's the team that I spent 11 years with. I literally broke my neck playing for the organization.
So, in political parlance, that is called a flip-flop.
Yes.
In Chris Ello parlance, it is called
pretty much normal behavior. I mean, it's what I would have done. I mean, look, if I was all of a sudden on the Charger payroll, I might find my heart and my way to love them again. Number one. Number two, Nick Hardwick's still a whole lot bigger than me. Even though he's trimmed down a little since his playing days, I am not going to sit here and criticize Nick Hardwick.
Is it a microcosm of what the organization is hoping, that while we all are hurting now, that in 4 months' time, that we will come back to the fold?
I don't think so. I mean, they're not going to get a lot of fans here back. I mean, they're not going to be able to put us all on the payroll.
All right, which brings us, you were in Long Beach. I'm going to repeat a question I asked you last week.
Okay.
The Aztecs come up short, losing to Long Beach State twice.
In the baseball regionals.
In the baseball regionals. They needed to win that to advance. I asked you back then, will they ever be able to attract a team that can advance out of that regional?
Get to a World Series.
And?
Look, they beat UCLA, a team that won the World Series a few years ago. This Long Beach State team has two of the best pitchers in the nation, and they threw against San Diego State. And if you'd have put those two pitchers on San Diego State's roster, the Aztecs probably would have won that regional. So they're competing with the top teams. They just, one of these days, I think they have a shot.
All right,
really
so
do.
You had an opportunity while you were there to speak with the AD, Mr. J.D. Wicker, and he talked about the future of football.
We broke pancakes together. Not bread, but pancakes for breakfast.
Gluten-free.
And we talked about his decision, or San Diego State's decision, to walk away from the Soccer City thing, which I applauded at the time. Told him again that I applauded it, but asked him where they are now. I mean, and he said, they're kind of waiting to see where they're going to go. So this is not, to me, it's not yet a concern, but it could become a concern down the road. As I said at the time, I'm glad the Aztecs are not involved with Soccer City, because I think it's a loaded situation. But the Aztecs are going to have to figure something out in terms of where they're going to play. I think it'll end up at Petco. I think Ron Fowler will change his mind.
Recruiting, every day it's delayed, you lose one more recruit. Yeah. Last night, Coach Blaylock informed KUSI privately that he's stepping down as the Rancho Bernardo baseball coach.
He called me first. No, he didn't.
No, that's who was beeping on the call through. Just look at these numbers. We're not going to see another baseball coach like this. This is Coach Blaylock talking with our Brandon Stone in a story you'll see later tonight.
I think I could still be better than the average Bear, but I just didn't see the fire inside me, and I didn't think the kids deserved half effort from the coach.
question: as school budgets continue to get squeezed, are icons like this who pile up more than 900 career wins, are they going to become more and more rare?
No, I think they're going to be more and more numerous because people are going to have to work longer because they're not going to be able to retire because they don't make enough money while they're working.
Fair enough.
So I'm looking at it from the other direction. But I'm not taking anything away from Sam Blaylock. He coached when I was covering high schools 30 years ago, and I remember him being a great coach then, and he still was till the day he retired.
We're really excited to make this. Coach does not do a lot of media, and look who's going to be in that chair tomorrow at 5:45. I'm really excited.
That's great.
Coach Blaylock's going to be here.
That's great.
This was my favorite question that you submitted. The boys in Vegas were asked to make book. I say boys, it could be boys and girls in Vegas.
Right.
Were asked to make book on NBA Finals. The 17 Golden State Warriors, who are playing now as we speak, against the 96 Chicago Bulls, and the verdict was?
They favor the Warriors. Vegas favors the Warriors.
And do you think that's right?
No, I don't. For a few. Well, first of all, let me just take a look at it. I think it would be fascinating to watch this series. One, I would be focused on nothing but Dennis Rodman versus Draymond Green. I think that would be a great matchup. Who would Steve Kerr send out to cover Steve Kerr when he's playing for the Bulls? So that would be some fun. But no, I think anytime Jordan's on a team, you always have to favor Jordan. And as great as Golden State is, and they're the hot thing right now, there's no question about it, ultimately they don't have a Jordan. They have some great, great players, but they don't have a Jordan to lift them over the top. And I know what some people say, well, they're going to beat LeBron James. Isn't he Jordan?
No.
This Chicago Bulls team or that Chicago Bulls team played great defense, played great team ball, had Pippen, Rodman, other things that this Cleveland team doesn't have.
Last question. We're going to jump ahead in the rundown, folks. The big news today, if you're living in the Midwest, flyover country, Bob Stoops is suddenly retiring as the Oklahoma football coach. Icon there. 2 days ago, he was bragging about his recruits on Twitter, and now he's walking away from them. What's up there?
Well, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt in this day and age. I mean, there's so many fishy situations that happen with coaching. I mean, how about Pete Carroll? What was it, 6, 7 years ago, walking away from USC. USC goes on probation. Pete Carroll goes and coaches Super Bowls. So if Oklahoma winds up on probation and Bob Stoops winds up coaching in the NFL, you'll understand why this decision was made today. I hope it's not the case, but in this day and age, you can't help but think about it.
If it does turn out to be the case, you heard it here first in Chris Ello's regular Wednesday tea time.